It's that time again. Let's better know a commander. This week, we've got 3 control decks and everyone's favorite 80s toy, Optimus Prime. Before we get into it, make sure you like, subscribe, and leave a comment. That is the easiest way to help out the channel. Without further ado, let's get into it.
Stop playing a bad deck and cash in for a brutal deck. Strap in, folks. We're saying no over and over. Let's unleash Baral, Chief of Compliance, on TikTok. 2 of the things you want in the command zone are card draw and ramp. Conveniently, Baral provides both. Instant and sorcery spells cost 1 less to cast, and whenever you counter a spell with one of your spells or abilities, you get to loot. So we get the instants to keep flying, and we have a great time. This is kind of like the fine cutlery. It's not an everyday kind of thing, but you're going to really enjoy using it when you do. So now, let's ask ourselves, how many obnoxious ways can we play Counterspell? Well, we've got the 6th edition Counterspell. We get to play Ice Out, and then say, Ice to meet you. You also get to play Urtai's Scorn, and when you cast it, say, Frowny Face. How about we play Mana Leak? Or Bane's Contingency? Why not? The choice is really yours. You're going to get a lot of counterspells into this deck. As a treat, you're also going to jam Counterbalance into the deck. This thing will just stop people altogether. Play Rewind and remind everyone to be kind. And casting this for 3 and untapping 4 lands seems real good. We're also going to play Frantic Search, cast for 2, draw 2, discard 2, untap 3 lands. That's great. Make sure you get an M13 copy of Negate. This art looks great, especially in foil. And how about a Homelands Axe version of Arcane Denial? Nice. You get to play Jin-Gitaxi's Progress Tyrant. That's always a good thing. We also get to play Sapphire Medallion, and who doesn't love cheap blue spells? Card selection is key, so we're playing my favorite blue card of all time. It's my favorite card of all time, Search for Azcanta. And it will quickly flip into Azcanta the Sunken Ruin. Impulse for days. You get to play the foil and Gush package, which is just beautiful. And this is because you're playing like 25 or 26 islands, along with some utility lands. So make sure those islands match. Make sure they are off-putting for your opponents, like this Sharky island here. Or just straight up like white border unlimited lands. So how are we going to win? Well, we're going to play Guile. Don't get to recommend this very often. And we're also going to play this dumb guy, Talron Sky Summoner. I'm sorry if he's your favorite commander, but what a waste of a rare slot in most sets. Get his stupid hat onto the battlefield and make drakes while you're casting spells. By that logic, play Murmuring Mystic as well and make some dumb blue birds. We also get Docent of Perfection, and it flips into Final Iteration. So we're going to have some insects and wizards on the battlefield as well. Ooh, another card draw spell for you, Wave Break Hippocamp. You're playing on everyone else's turn, so this is great. Don't forget Memory Lapse, because that's the face your opponents will make when you cast this for 1 mana. Have some fun and play Commandeer. Not a counter spell, but still going to be great when you take something from them. And then our last win con is just mill everybody out as you play Magic naturally. What this turns into is counter a spell, loot, opponent mills 2 cards, and maybe more. So, again, really fun, really obnoxious. Definitely pedal to the metal with this deck because you get Baral out on turn 1 or 2 every game. Be advised that your playgroup will not want to play against this all the time, so have something else in the chamber as well. But enjoy. Hope this helps. It's that time again. We're brewing a blue-black control deck for Commander. This time, we're starting with a Rhystic Study in the command zone. How's that sound? We're taken to the skies with Talion, the Kindly Lord. As Talion enters the battlefield, you choose a number, 2, and then you profit as your opponents play 2 drops and creatures with 2 power or 2 toughness. They lose life, you draw cards. It sounds fantastic. Passive, draw cards, punish your opponents, everything you want in a blue-black control deck. You know what would be better? More copies of Talion. That's right. We're playing Sakashima of 1,000 Faces to make another copy of Talion. This time we're choosing 1. And then we're going to copy Sakashima with Phantasmal Image. And we're going to choose 3. And then we're going to play Spark Double, and we're going to choose 4. And we're going to make it so every single time someone does something at the table, you draw a card and they lose 2 life. Beautiful. This is what Magic is meant to be. Since we're playing Rhystic Study in the command zone, we might as well play Rhystic Study itself. That means we're also going to play Mystic Remora, and we're going to play the biggest fish of them all, Nezahal Primal Tide. Now maybe they want to draw some cards as well, so I think this is worth putting a Shieldred the Apocalypse in. And how about we draw more than just one card by playing Teferi's Ageless Insight? That seems like a great deal for us. We're also going to jam in a Sphinx's Tutelage, so that whenever you draw a card, your opponent mills 2, and if they match colors, they mill again. And if they match colors, they mill again. This can turn into some really silly stuff. It's a control deck, so let's get something super obnoxious in the deck with Counterbalance. Also, it's super easy to turn on Bloodchief Ascension in this deck. Your opponents are going to cast spells and lose 2 life, so you're getting those quest counters, no problem. How about some more punishment? Underworld Dreams, Forced Fruition, Fate Unraveler. Yes, so much damage for just playing the game. Ha ha ha. We also get to play my favorite Dimir card of all time, Whispering Madness. You cast it, everyone windfalls. You cipher it onto a creature, like a flying 3/4. You attack, you do it again. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Obviously, we could put an Orcish Bowmaster in here. I would play Windfall, maybe a Dark Deal as well. And since the graveyards are going to be full, I would jam in a Reanimate or Animate Dead or a Necromancy, things like that, to just really close out the game. Board wipes for sure. There's so much great stuff to do here with Talion. Your friends are not going to particularly enjoy playing against it after a couple of times, unless they truly are gluttons for punishment, or they just really care about your happiness, which is an admirable thing. So go forth, suit up Talion the Kindly Lord with tons of great spells, and go win some Commander games. This is a public service announcement. Your Commander can be board control, and we've got a good one here for you today. We're talking all the way back from Legends, Tetsuo Umezawa. He has hexproof from auras, and you can pay mana and tap him to destroy blocking or attacking creatures. Sorry, blocking or tapped creatures. So this deck is about making your opponents get tapped, or at least their creatures. That means this is a goad deck. Perfect fit for this deck would be Carter or Doomscourge. Get your opponents' creatures attacking, watch them all die, make your opponents lose life, and you can then destroy one of the creatures with Umezawa. We're also playing Disrupt Decorum, just recently reprinted, still good. Goad is awesome. We're also going to play Spectacular Showdown. Good early. Put a double strike counter on target creature and goad it. Amazing late. Overload this and put a double strike counter on each creature. And then goad them. That seems like a finisher. We get to play Fumiko the Lowblood. Not exactly a creature I usually recommend a 4-mana 3/2, but it forces combat. And with Bushido X, she's going to be huge. We got Life of the Party to give our opponents creatures, and we get a creature. We got Bloodthirsty Blade to pass around to all of our opponents' creatures and get them doing damage to each other. We get to play Furcrag, Cunning Instigator. If you have a couple dragons in your deck, they're going to start forcing combat as well. And then, once they're all tapped, we can decide which creatures we need to destroy. Or, we're going to force people to not play creatures, which for a lot of decks means they just won't function. We have a way to use infinite mana here if we can make it with Xantcha Sleeper Agent. We're going to give it to an opponent, and then we're going to drain them out and draw cards. So wholesome. We're going deep into the Game Night box of cards, and we're getting Maeve, Insidious Singer. Mono blue goad creature is very cool. How about Mocking Doppelganger? Clone one of your opponent's creatures and then goad that creature. At some point, your opponents will have to swing at you. Once there's no opponents left to swing at, they have to attack you. So we're going to play Phyrexian Obliterator, which, again, I don't get to recommend very often, but imagine if someone has to swing a creature into this guy. What a way to end the game, right? You get to play Baloth Baratil, the Entertainer. More goading. Also, you get Varchild, Betrayer of Keldor. Guaranteed one of your opponents will be more than willing to take on all of those red survivors that you eventually will get yourself. Let's make creatures tapped to begin with and play Frozen Aether. And since we're getting our opponents to attack each other, we might as well play Curse of Opulence and Curse of Verbosity. Spread the love around though and give them to a couple different opponents. You don't need to stack up all the hate on one person. This is also really nice here with War's Toll. It forces them to tap all their lands and all their creatures, which gives you the pick of the litter for who you're going to destroy. And that's really what makes up this deck. Now, when I went through the comments again, I saw that you were asking for an Obosh deck with Tetsuo Umezawa, and I apologize for that. I didn't make the connection until I started working on the deck this morning. But here we have something that looks really fun, and if you're willing to shell out for that reserve list commander, and let's be honest, it's a great looking card, why not get in there with Goad and make everyone attack each other? Also, before someone says I missed the flavor, definitely play Umezawa's Jite as well. Like, come on. Hope this helps. I don't think enough people know about robots in disguise. That's right, we're talking Transformers, and all the other pseudo-Transformers we possibly can jam into this deck. Let me present Optimus Prime, Hero. He costs 3 blue, red, white, or you can cast him for more than meets the eye for 2 blue, red, white. Optimus is doing his thing, bringing up his weakest players and letting them be powerful using the bolster mechanic. Transformed, he's Optimus Prime, Autobot leader, a 6/8 with living metal. On your turn, he's a creature. So we're going to lean hard into artifact creatures here. Some will be Transformers, some will be not so Transformers, but we're going to just take it to the max with artifacts and see what we can do. So from Doctor Who, we get a cool artifact kill spell with Delete. You will be deleted. We also get to play Cyberman Patrol. All artifact creatures you control have Afflict 2. I love Afflict. It was one of my favorite draft mechanics from Hour of Devastation. When your creatures get blocked, they still do 2 damage. That's really annoying for your opponents. We're playing Thopter Spy Network, an enchantment that's going to keep producing artifact creatures for us. Good deal. I love free spells. I've always lived by the mantra, if it's free, it's for me. And Force of Virtue is great in this deck. We're going to have enough white cards to pitch something on someone else's turn and buff up our own creatures for no mana. We're also going to use the Lorehold Strixhaven School to wake the past and return all artifact cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. This will be great to rebuild when someone inevitably overloads a Vandal Blast. It's going to happen, you're just going to have to deal with it. How about we pay 2 mana to invest in pumping up all our creatures with Steel Overseer? That seems good. So now some of our Transformer fleet. We've got Jetfire, Ingenious Scientist. You're definitely going to cast this for the more than meets the eye side. Jetfire Air Guardian has Living Metal, so it gets to attack on your turn. It also has blue, 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 adapt 3. This also has blue, 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 adapt 3. This thing gets to be a 6/7 real quick. We're also going to play RC Sharpshooter. She's going to control the creatures on the board that you don't want around. And very likely you're going to cast her as RC Acrobatic Coup. You need a Stoic Strategist on your team as well, so we're playing Prowl. Exiling your opponent's things and making them spend more mana to cast them is always good, and that'll get you to draw a card, which is nice. You can also play him as Prowl Pursuit Vehicle. How about a Field Medic with Ratchet? Ratchet is your Rescue Racer. We got lots of artifact synergies, so obviously we're going to play Ethereum Sculptor. Your artifact spells cost 1 last to cast. We're playing Alibu Ancient Witness. When it attacks, it deals damage to an opponent, and you get to scry X, where X is the number of tapped artifacts you control. Well, you're attacking with artifact creatures, and that sounds like tons of tapped artifacts, if I know my math right. We get to play blue Craterhoof Behemoth with Cyberdrive Awakener. Other artifact creatures you control have flying, and when this enters the battlefield, each non-creature artifact you control becomes an artifact creature with base power and toughness 4/4. So as you've cast some Baubles, and as you've cast some Wellsprings, or you've played Sensei's Divining Top, boom, 6 mana, all of a sudden you got all these flying robots to take out your opponents. Seems good. We're also playing Shurikai Genesis Engine. This will create a few humans for us, but really it's just fun to have a draw engine, literally. We're playing Mystic Forge, so we can play artifacts and colorless spells off the top of our deck. We're playing Reality Chip, so we can play cards off the top of our deck. How about a fun, weird win con with Mirrodin Besieged? We're going to choose Phyrexian, so on our end step we get to loot. And then, if we have 15 or more artifacts, which we have a lot of in the deck, in the graveyard, we just straight up, target opponent loses the game. That's way funnier, actually. And you get to play artifact lands, which just adds to all this fun count. But beware of Vandal Blast. So there you go. You get to go to the Great Furnace. You get to play with Transformers. They are more than meets the eye. And you're going to play Rock'em Sock'em Robots, or Transformers, or GoBots, or Dinobots, or whatever it is you want to call them. This is going to be a great time. Hope that helps.